Go ahead and hit our recording, and I'm going to turn it right over to you.
Okay, I hit record. So I am going to get right into this because I know the thunder is on and I'm watching too. So, but I hope you guys have a pen and paper and maybe can take something from this. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, and I did the 7 tips, success tips, and don't let summertime be your excuse. But this is really going to be for. Can you guys see my screen? Yes.
Yes, it's wonderful. I love it.
Okay, so I'm going to do this for don't let summertime be an excuse because right now we're in summertime, but this is really going to be for just any time during your business. And to start it, the reason most people never reach their goals is that they don't define them or ever seriously consider them as believable or achievable. Winners can tell you where they are going, what they plan to do along the way, and who will be sharing the adventure with them. So all of that to say, the number one tip is to be clear. You guys, are you making your goals at the beginning of each month just to make them? Because Vicki says by the 5th of each month, have your goals in place? Are you just doing that so that that's one thing that you can check off? Or are you actually visualizing them? Can you see them and really, can you feel them? Can you believe them and know that you are going to achieve them? That's something that we really need to consider, because a goal without a plan, you guys, is just a wish. You can't just think about, okay, these are my goals for the month and expect to achieve them. You need to write them down and really believe that you can do it. So what's holding you back? What's holding you back from reaching that next level or reaching that income goal that you signed up for this business to do? What's keeping you from that? Are you just flat out procrastinating and waiting too long? Or are you not really focusing on your goals? Are you you have too many distractions going on? Or are you just not fully committed? What is holding you back? And knowing what's holding you back, and admitting it, and admitting that you have a problem, admitting that you have this fear or this roadblock. If you can know what that is so that you can overcome it and deal with it, that will help you get to your next step. Okay, next, number 2. There we go. Number 2 is be visible. And you guys, Arbonne Boutique is definitely the place to go to be visible. And I don't know why I didn't go and put my water bottle on there, because I am never without my water bottle. Real quick note on that, if any of you have known me for very long, you know that I always used to carry one of those Bubba cups because they're insulated, keeps your drinks cool. But one time, for some reason, I carried my Arbonne water bottle, and somebody asked me about it. They like it. I don't know if it's the height or what, but it has the Arbonne logo on it, and so it's a conversation piece. And so now there's not a day that goes by that I don't carry that water bottle. But I know the jewelry that Arbonne offers. I know in the Strong Start program, the key necklace. You guys, every time I wear that, people compliment me on it and they want to know, what is that? And so it's a conversation piece. So if we are visible with our brand, or if we are visible, that creates opportunities. So when the opportunity arises, what are you prepared to say? You've got to have your quick, catchy comeback. So when someone asks you what Arbonne is, it can be something as simple as, Arbonne is a company that focuses on health and wellness from the inside out. I'd love to talk to you about it if you're interested. I know one that I heard, probably a year or so ago was, Arbonne is a company that plumps your bank account and shrinks your wrinkles. You guys, that's genius. That's, it's fun and it's catchy. You can come up with your own, but the point is to just be prepared with something short and catchy so that you can turn it into a coffee date or a one-on-one, turn it into something. And again, Arbonne Boutique has a plethora of items for you to be visible. Next step, number 3, is to be focused. And this is kind of a 2-in-1 here on this slide. But basically what I mean with this is, for summer, we can create all kinds of excuses, right, on why we need to put our business on the back burner, or, the kids are out of school now. We can create all kinds of excuses on why we can't work our business, or we can find creative ways to work our business. And if you don't have an outside job and this is your 9-to-5 job, you need to treat it like your 9-to-5 job. And during the summer, again, if you're home and you only have 30 minutes a day or an hour a day, be focused during this time. And if you have to put a movie in for the kids or utilize nap time, whatever you have to do there, just be focused during this time so that you can make the most of it. So whenever you have to sit down and make your calls, hopefully you've done bookings from bookings so you don't have to sit down and make your calls. But if you do, what are you after when you're making these calls? You're after those coffee dates or setting up your presentations or getting referrals from someone. Know what you're doing, what your point is of making the call. And then, you guys, as humans, we're pretty selfish, aren't we? We want to know what's in it for us. So when you're making that call, what can you bribe them with, or what can you incentivize them with in order to have this get together for you? And I know we have a lot of new people. If you're new in this business, you guys utilize the little phrase as, can you do this so I can practice, so I can get to know what I'm doing? You can only use that for a short amount of time. So use that. That's a great way to get in and to get people to help you out so that you can learn what you're doing and learn your presentation. And then once we're at the presentations, you got your event. So that call was a success. You got your presentation. You're there. You're doing facials or healthy living, or your speed dating event, whatever you're doing. You guys, we cannot forget to close. Sometimes we get carried away. And did you close with every single person there? We want to make sure that the time we do spend away from our families are successful. We are there to educate, but if you're in this and you have a financial goal that you need from this, all you have to do is ask. I'm going to share real quick with Emily. Emily started her business the beginning of this month, and I was prepping her for this past Friday. She had her first pretty decent group gathering on her own that she did on her own. So I was kind of prepping her with it, and I said, you've got to expect the outcome, assume the outcome. You have 6 people coming to this get together. What do you want out of it? How many preferred clients do you want? How many ASVPs do you want? How many coffee dates? How many bookings do you want this? You have to assume the close. And I love her response. It was something along the lines as, well, I'm just going to assume everyone wants it unless they tell me they don't. And that's how we need to go in doing this, because they want to know what to do. So all you have to do is ask. So let's be sure we're asking and we're closing on that and making the most of our time away from our families. Number 4 is to be consistent. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives or our businesses. It's what we do consistently. Consistency really is key to our success and to building our businesses. You can expect to get the same or to get a big paycheck. If you do a great month one month and get a great paycheck, if you kind of sit back and not do so much the next month, you can't expect that same great paycheck. You have to be consistent to get what you want out of this business. And, that goes into when we're making our phone calls. Sometimes we kind of get discouraged when we get no answers or no's, but if you just stay consistent, you're going to get that yes, and you're going to get your yeses. We have to remember that consistency is the cornerstone to our success. It's the cornerstone to greatness. So just stick with it, and you are going to get your yeses and your results. Here, I want to share the story. I know it's shared many different ways, but the way I like it is if I were to give all of you a box of oysters and or a bucket of oysters, and to tell you that amongst those buckets there's 10 pearls, what would you start doing? You would start opening them, right? So whenever you're going through them and you open your first one and there's no oyster, or there's no pearl in that oyster, what are you going to do? Are you going to pet it and coddle it and try to convince it to become a pearl? Or are you going to put it aside and keep looking for that pearl? And kind of in our business, we don't want to try to convince someone to do this business with us. We want those who are willing to step in and do what it takes to do this business. We don't want to convince someone to do this business, because you know what? Then you're going to have to convince them to book up their calendar, and you're going to have to convince them to do everything. We're not in the convincing business. Put that one aside. It's not their time. Timing is everything. So go find your pearl and go find your next business builder. Tom Landry said, setting a goal is not the main thing. It's deciding how you will go about achieving it and staying with that plan. And so with that being said, number 5 is we need to be realistic. And I'm just going to touch on this real quick, because for me, this in itself is a total another training all in itself. But basically, we need to be realistic with our activity that's on our calendar, because with the outcome, your paycheck's not going to lie. Okay, we want to be realistic and be honest with ourselves. You can book up your calendar and say that you got your 10 bookings, but if those 10 bookings are one-on-ones, you're not going to get the outcome that you're looking for. One-on-ones are great, don't get me wrong, but we really want to learn to work smarter, not harder. And booking a bunch of one-on-ones is much harder than booking 10 group presentations, because you get to see more faces. Again, value every dial, because you will get your ask. Just be realistic. If you make 2 phone calls and don't get anything, you're not going to book up your calendar that way, right? So be realistic and be consistent. The formula for success is earnings divided by activity equals wages. And really for that, if you're in this for a financial goal each month, the earnings that you have divided by the activity equals the wages. So how much you need to get per customer or per client. And that's if you're looking for that monthly goal. But knowing what you are or want will help you with your realistic goals. And that's just setting your goals each and every month. And we can definitely help you on helping or getting those realistic goals when we know what you're wanting out of this business. And again, it all goes back to activity. We can hear it said 100 different times or 100 different ways, but it really all goes back to our activity is going to determine our outcome. Financially and mentally. Activity fixes everything. Number 6 is be creative. You guys, again, in summer and in May especially, we hear that May is, it's maybe a little bit harder to reach your goals or to do this and that. But you guys, all you have to do is get creative. Don't let people getting out of school and holidays and graduation be an excuse. Just be creative. How many times are you going to be at the pool in May? have a pool party, stop and shops, have your house open for 2 or 3 hours and have people come by and look at different things you have. You can even utilize the 125 for 25s to, have some grab and goes if you plan in advance. The 511 show, you invite 5 people who each invite 1 person each. So that's to come to your house for an hour. So 5 people inviting 1 is 10 people at your house for an hour to have a show. Mom and daughter event, summer boost, scavenger hunts. The thing with the scavenger hunt is you come up with your scavenger hunt, but one of the things that has to be done is to find 1 person looking for a little bit of extra money. And there you go. There's a coffee date. Lunch bunch, healthy happy hour, mamas and margaritas, sprinkles and wrinkles. You guys, there's so many that I've heard of, and you can come up with your own. But really the idea is to get creative. And thinking about this is brought back memories because in May, 2 years ago in May, I decided to do this business, and I had my sight set on promoting in May, and I promoted in May. I didn't let graduations, I didn't let May being a harder month stop me. If you're on a mission, if you have a goal, it can be done. And so that takes me to Charles Swindoll. And this is one of my most favorite quotes. The most significant decision I make each day is my choice of attitude. When my attitude is right, there is no barrier too high, no valley too deep, no dream too extreme, and no challenge too great. It all goes back to our attitude and to be fully committed. And on this, just real quick on these bullet points on here, this is, if you're fully committed, you need to be all in. And that might be if, I know Vicki had a fear of speaking in front of people. I know I had a fear. So if, let's say, for instance, that's your fear, start simple. Make a decision that you're going to talk in front of, a stranger at the mall, or, just make eye contact with them, or just say hi. Just start simple. It doesn't have to be, let's have 15 people here and we'll do a presentation. Just start simple, start small, and then work your way up to get over that fear. And then, make a daily commitment. This can be anything, but it takes me back to whenever we did our 3 asks a day. And if that seems too much for you, you can do 1 ask a day. But our 3 asks a day is, we had 3 business cards and you stuck them in your pocket. And then you weren't finished for that day until you handed out that last business card. And that can be, asking for a get-together, asking for a coffee date, samples. It can be anything, but you have to have 3 asks a day. And so creating a behavior chain to go with that is basically, it can be whatever you want. Let's say it's, I'm not going to brush my teeth until I make 3 phone calls for the day. Don't worry, they can't smell your breath or feel your fuzzy teeth. But, whatever you want it to be, you can't have your soda for the day, or you can't have your coffee for the day until you do those 3 asks for the day. It just kind of gives yourself a little bit of accountability and makes you get it done, hopefully earlier in the day than later. And then eliminate excessive options. You guys, when you're asking, don't say what day works for you or what do you want to do. Ask what you're wanting for. Are you wanting them to do a healthy living presentation for you on Tuesday or Thursday? Or will they have a facial, event for you on Saturday or Sunday? Narrow it down. If that won't work, then you can choose, but eliminate all the excessive options and just make it simple. And then stay consistent for 21 days. The 21 days is, I guess, when a habit is made, but just stay consistent for 21 days. When you want to be fully committed, commit for 21 days. And I'm going to extend it to 30 days. June is right around the corner. So if we want to do a challenge of our 3 asks a day, start June 1 and go the full month of June. I know we're going to be doing the 30 days to Healthy, Happier You. We're committing to those 30 days. So if we can do that, what else can we do to help our business as well? And then accountability. This is sometimes not always fun, but if you want to ask like your sideline or your upline to help you stay accountable for those 21 or 30 days. Whatever you decide to do to better your business, have that accountability. And then with that, you have to be willing to hear maybe some things you might not want to hear, to get your rear in gear, whatever it may be. But sometimes we need that accountability. But then on top of all of that, we want to celebrate your success. I don't know if you want to do that daily, depending on how you want to celebrate. But, like at the end of that week, when you have 7 days that you committed to do whatever, celebrate that. We're all about, hey, we all need a celebration, right? And then my last slide here is, you guys, success is a choice. So let's choose to succeed, focus, commit, and expect miracles. I know that I've been in this business now just 2 years, and thinking back while doing this, thinking back to whenever I first started, and I chose 2 years ago in May to go district, and I saw that big vision, and that number is so big, you'd never think you're going to reach it, but then making that, I'm going to cry, making that phone call to Vicki. I don't know why I'm crying, but making that phone call, because I did do it. You have that dream, you have that big miracle at the end, and you actually make it. It makes yourself feel amazing, because you never ever dreamed that you could ever make that goal. So you guys, really dream big. When you're making your goals, make those goals just out of reach. That's why we do the good, great, and awesome. Make those goals big, because you never know what you can do when you actually put your mind to something and do it. So, Vicki, that is what I have.
Oh, that was wonderful. Oh my goodness. Amazing. I am so glad that we were able to get the technical issues solved because that was worth looking around to figure it out. That was amazing. And she is right, you guys. What good are small goals? What good is a small vision, right? You guys, in this business, with when Rachel, what that did for her is it enlarged her vision. And that's what we get to do in Arbonne, is when we set these goals and we accomplish these goals, it grows our vision into bigger and better things. You hear all the time that your whys will change the longer you're in Arbonne, and it's because of that very reason. Because we start with small vision. I mean, we really kind of do. I did. But the longer you're in this business and the more miracles you see all around you, because people are out there working on themselves alongside on their business, when they do that, people are accomplishing so much more than they ever realized they were capable of. And people are able to achieve things because they decided and they committed, just like Rachel said. And that can go a long way. And that's where we get to turn around and empower other people to do exactly the same thing. That's what you've done for us tonight, Rachel, is you've empowered us with some incredible training tools that we're going to be able to use for this summer. A lot of things I haven't even heard before. So I literally have taken 3 pages of notes. I'm not even kidding. One of the things that there was so much that you shared, but I love the oyster story that you shared, you guys. When you know that there are people out there that are pearls amongst all the oysters in the world, you would keep digging through that barrel, just like she talked about, because you know they're there. We see the proof of what this business does for people all around us. It's evidence everywhere. Her presentations every single month in every single state, in the different countries, you guys. The evidence is real. We know the pearls are there. What we have to do is to go open them one at a time as we go out and share this business, these products, and we look, like she said, we look for those that want this the way that we do. I love that story, and that it has been a very long time since I've heard that story, and it was so relative to what you shared tonight. So good. I don't know how to put it in words, but you really did empower us tonight. So I appreciate the time you took to pull this together. with your PowerPoint. Please be sure, Rachel, to look on all of the chat to see what others have said or commented. And if any of you want to unmute, now's a great time to ask Rachel for if you have any questions or comments. You can do that right now by unmuting yourself, and we'll allow you guys a chance to do that.
Hey, Rachel, this is Kimberly Skiles. I just wanted to say, wow, you blew us away tonight. That was awesome. You have eliminated any excuses that any of us could come up with for May, and I thank you for that because there is no reason not to hit our goals. So incredible job. One of my favorite trainings you've ever done. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kimberly.
Awesome. Anybody else? A lot of people are posting in the chats. So if there's not anybody else, if you are, just interrupt me. We will pause and let you speak for sure, because I know that does a heart good when you hear the feedback of what you've shared. But while we're while you're reading the chat section, Rach, I'll go ahead and read our team declaration for this week. As you guys know, we are about to start our close week. We have a full week ahead of us. It's crazy how fast May has come and gone. I know you guys probably feel the same, but this is the time that we rear up, and we start to really tackle our goals. And I encourage you, if you've got your sights on a goal that you set at the beginning of the month, keep that in sight, you guys. Keep that in sight and keep trudging along. Reach out to your sponsor. Reach out to your area manager, your regional vice president. Allow them to dissect it for you and just to be a separate set of eyes. Sometimes that's all we need is just that extra confirmation, encouragement to let us know that we can do it. And that's what we're here for, you guys, is to build each other up and to stretch each other and challenge each other, because that's when those big goals happen that enlarge our vision that we talked about tonight. This is the week, you guys, that we buckle down and we put our head down and our blinders on and we press forward. So I am certainly in prayer, and I know many of your leaders are, for each of you as you work towards that close that you'd like to see for your families. So our team declaration says, we declare that we have a sound mind filled with good thoughts, not thoughts of defeat. By faith, we are well able. We are anointed. We are equipped. We are empowered. Our thoughts are guided by God's word every day. No obstacle can defeat us because our mind is programmed for victory. This is our team declaration. Do you guys know I do not read our team declaration before our calls? So I read it and hear it the same time that you guys hear it. Do you guys not have chill bumps racing up and down your arms when you hear that? I love how God just puts a stamp of approval on our training tonight and just gives us that confirmation to know of who we belong to and why we do what we get to do. I love you guys so much. Have an incredible week. I am cheering you along, and I encourage all of you to pray for one another. Unite in prayer this week as we push toward our goals and we create this powerful momentum to feed us into the summer months. I love you guys. Thanks again, Rachel. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night.